Okay, now I'm going to leave Greg Davis with you. He is the state estimates engineer, and he will discuss with you the updates to chapters 17 and 20 of the PPM, engineering design estimates process, and plans processing revisions to the bid set resubmittal of withdrawn projects. Here's Greg for you.
Thanks, Maria. As Maria just stated, I'm Greg Davis, the state estimates engineer. I will be discussing the PPM Chapter 17 and 20 changes, which is primarily due to the new comp book distribution process. I have been working with Kurt LeBlanc on this new process, and actually I'm substituting for Kurt, who could not be present at today's training. The first topic that I will cover is Chapter 17 changes, engineering design estimate process. Okay, first let me explain what you're seeing. The text that you see is from the PPM Chapter 17. The yellow highlighted text is text that was added to the PPM, and you'll later see some red highlighted changes with the strike through it, and those are text that's being deleted from the PPM. Okay, section 17.1 includes a list of documents that the engineer must have to do a quality authorization estimate. This list was revised to include any quantity computation documents for lump sum contracts. Okay, in section 17.4.1, no longer requires the computation book to be transmitted to the district construction office at the time of PS&E submittal. I'll explain how the district construction office will receive the computation book a little later. For lump sum projects, any documents with quantity computations will be included in the PS&E submittal. At this point, let me explain the new computation book distribution process. Okay, first a little background on why we're revising the computation book distribution process. The contractors have been requesting a copy of the computation book in order to prepare their bids. In some districts, they have been receiving the comp book, and others they have not. So in order to ensure CPR throughout the state, and also to ensure a level playing field among the bidding contractors, it was decided to make the computation book available to all bidders. The computation book distribution process will be revised as follows. The computation book or quantity computation documents will be submitted with the PS&E package as part of the bid set. The district design office will no longer need to send the computation book to the district construction office. Upon acceptance of the PS&E package, the DCEs will be notified that the contract documents and computation book or quantity computation documents are available on Project Review server. Revisions to the PS&E package affecting the pay items and quantities will require an updated computation book or quantity computation documents for those specific pay items. The revised comp book or quantity computation documents will be submitted with revisions to the PS&E package. The contracts administration will post the contract documents and computation book or quantity computation documents at the time of advertisement for potential bidders, along with any revisions. There are other details referring to this process in Chapter 20 of the PPM, in which we will go over in just a few minutes. This process will be implemented in July 2013 for both central office and district lists. Okay, now let's cover the Chapter 20 changes, plans processing revisions. Okay, section 20.2 modifies the definition of the bid set to include the computation book or lump sum quantity computation documents. This will result in all bidders receiving the computation book. Also, section 20.2 revises the definition of contract documents at the various stages of development to reflect the current specifications. The takeaway here is that the computation book or lump sum quantity computation documents are not part of the contract documents, even though they are in the bid set. This we made clear in the disclaimer issued with the bid proposal. In addition, section 20.2 changes reflect the current practice for revisions within 5 working days of the letting, which requires approval by the Director of the Office of Design. This will occur rarely and will be evaluated for each project. Section 20.3.2 changes the Plans to Tallahassee date activity name to reflect the name on the critical dates chart, which is PS&E submittal due date. Also, this section removes the requirement to send the computation book to District Construction Engineer, as we discussed earlier. Okay, section 20.3.3 reflects the current name of the district office responsible for plans processing, which is the District Program Management Office. I couldn't get the link to work to the plans processing flowchart, but it's just a minor change there. The central office unit that's responsible for processing the PS&E submittals, that name was changed, and that is the Central Office Project Review. Okay, in section 20.4, item number 8, this eliminates the need for sending a revised computation book to the District Construction Engineer, again, as we stated earlier. Item number 9 in the same section reflects the current practice of occasionally allowing revisions within the 5 working day period of the letting, only as approved by the Director, Office of Design. Okay, and figure 20.3 was updated to the new computation book distribution process. And right now I'm going to go through some of the key steps in this process. First, for district lettings, the district final plans processes with the PS&E package and notifies district construction that it's been posted. If it's a central office let, the district final plans will send it to central office project review with the PS&E package. Project review will process the PS&E package and post the comp book on the server and notify the DCE. Contracts Administration Office prepares the advertisement and includes the computation book with the contract documents distribution. Okay, Exhibit 20-C, which is the revision memo, sheet 3 of 6, modifies a reminder to include the revised computation book with the bid set, as you can see at the bottom of the screen there. Okay, the next flowchart is not part of the PPM, but it's from Construction's Preparation and Documentation Manual. But I want to go through a few of these steps. Some of the early steps in this process is a duplicate of what we discussed earlier in the PPM. But I just want to highlight that once contracts prepares advertisement and includes the comp book with the PS&E package for distribution, the next step is that the DCE once they receive once they access the comp book from the server, can then forward this to the resident or the CEI office. Any revisions that's done to the plans and comp book will follow the PPM revision process as outlined in Figure 20.2. And then after the job is let, the comp book, the final comp book and plans are sent to the DCEs and the awarded contractor. Okay, that concludes my presentation. I guess we're going to hold questions for later.
Thank you, Frank. We do have a few questions that came in for Greg Davis. And at this time, I think we're going to turn it over here to Maria. And Maria, if you'll read the question, and then Greg, if you can respond.
Okay. Thanks, Jackie. Greg, does the comp book go in the pre-estimate folder?
The answer to that question is yes.
Okay, thanks. There's another question for you. Regarding the comp book, what should be done for projects led after July 2013 that have already passed the PS&E submittal?
All right, for those projects, we'll follow the existing process, but hopefully we will roll this out early enough so that we can avoid this particular issue.